3 months ago, I would have said I was a million miles away in the show because we really felt confident of attracting the 2 or 3 world-class names that we felt were appropriate for the club. It's transpired that that's not going to happen now, that we have to bring it to a certain place before that will happen. In terms of bringing the club to a certain place, especially where the club is now and what's happened in the recent history, we feel somebody with inside knowledge, with somebody who knows how this thing, how they can unlock the key to this club, and I feel like I fit into that category. I was here when things went really well. I got out before they went bad. I could see what was happening, and I think I know what's required in order to get it back into a shape where we can move forward. And that's why I've gone with Bobby Saxton to come with me, who was instrumental in bringing us up to the heights we reached some years ago in the first place. Sometimes the manager gets all the credit and the chairman takes credit and everybody's patting each other on the back, but every player who was at the club at that particular time will tell you how significant and how important a role he played, and I just want him to come in and do the exact same things that he did with us, in terms of backing him up and what I will back him up with my own enthusiasm and passion. But we'll also be bringing in a scientific approach. We'll have injury prevention. We're learning from the best. Some things have changed in those last few years, and there are lots of things that I would like to implement and put my own style on. And one thing I'm pretty big on, I've studied up a lot and I admire a lot are the way the scientific sporting edges that can be achieved. We can get 10% more out of our players. We can finish stronger in games. There's a lot to be gained, I think, from taking a new scientific approach to our training methods, but also relying on that spirit and heart and passion that this club needs to drive forward. So I'm going to try and combine the two, and I'm going to try and lead them from the front.
You've been a huge fan of this club. You've been a player for this club. You're going to be chairman of this club. How much are you looking forward to also being the manager and relishing that role?
I am relishing it, because we're not here setting the bar up saying we've got to qualify for the Champions League in 2 years or anything silly like that. What I'm saying to you is I feel that the job I have to do for this club as manager is achievable. I feel I've got to, stop the slide, and by making an appointment today, now I can go out and sign players. It was impossible to go and sign players when there was no manager here. The first thing they would say to me would be, well, we don't even know if the manager wants me when you appoint one. So all that has stopped. We're now in a position where I think today the slide has stopped. I think the players are starting to get really up for it now. I got a great feel off them last night that they feel things are starting to happen, and it's time now to turn the corner. And I feel I'm really looking forward to doing that. I feel I know enough about what makes this club good or what makes it bad, and I'm going to try and really implement standards here of the players that a lot of them will never have been asked before. They're going to be set targets. The game is on, but in fairness to them, they've been superb pre-season. I think their matches have shown that. Their fitness they've worked on is so hard. I think they want to make up for lost time as well, and I think between us we'll come up with the right connection to bring the fans back at one with the club again, and I, in terms of speaking directly to them, I can promise them attacking football. I can promise them a team that are going to go out and take things by the scruff of the neck. I want to see goals at the stadium's light. That's maybe it's because I was a centre forward and I hated it when the ball was at the other end of the pitch all the time. But we'll be an attacking team. We'll bring passion, commitment, desire. We'll bring all those things to the table, and we just hope that the fans will accept this, connect with it, and give us the support we needed, because they're vital. For the last 3 years, I've watched a lot of football. I've talked about a lot of football and tried to take the easy role, if you like. But now it's time to put the head on the block and have a go. And I needn't have done this. I know that. I could have been playing golf somewhere today. It would have been fine. But there's passion and there's flames burning in there. And this is the only club in the world that I would have said that would have made me feel like this. And I just think problems will come. We'll deal with them. The overriding sense that I want to flow to this club, the passion that everybody here is not settling for the position we're in now, and we've got to get back to that top flight status as quickly as possible. It's not going to be easy. I'm not saying we're here, we're going to challenge for the thing straight away. What I'm saying, and I kind of mentioned it earlier, we've stopped the rot now at this point, as far as I'm concerned, and we've got to turn a corner now and gather momentum. And the big thing really for me is I've got to get this club in a position where I can attract a world-class manager to say, okay, now it's your turn, I'll go back to being chairman, play a bit of golf, more golf then.
Did you get any indications off the people you were speaking to that if you moved up, they might be interested?
Every one of them. It was the only reason given. There was no commercial decision, there was no financial decision, there was no problem with money going forward for players. All the points that you could ask a potential manager that he would want, he had, bar Premiership football. And that was the big stumbling block. And in many ways, it'll be a stumbling block in trying to sign players as well. So that's going to be the problem. But we feel we have the knowledge, the expertise, and we're willing to take on that responsibility within our own group. And that's why I'm very much looking forward to that all starting off. And listen, as soon as we start gathering momentum, if it does happen, and if we're lucky enough, and one of these managers who we think is right comes along, I'll be back to chairman again. So there's no time period on that. I mean, if it happens in 2 months, great. If it happens in 12 months, that's the way it's going to have to be. But the club needs stability now. We're 2 weeks away from the season. We just ask everybody to come with us.
Do you think it's a possibility, Niall, that if you have a particularly good start to the season and come January, really looking like one of the promotion contenders, that the situation might develop where a manager becomes available who's of the right calibre? I
hope so. I really hope so. That's the aim. The aim here isn't for me to chase for the holy grail of this football club. The aim, as I said, is quite simple. Stop the rot, stop where we are, turn a corner, gather momentum, and make it attractive again. I think that's the whole point. And along the way, I'll be introducing what I'd like to think would be. I've spoke about passion a lot now since I've been involved in the last while, but I've got to bring a professionalism to it, And I think the other thing I'd like to see from my players now, and what's happened to them, and whether they've learned or not, is intelligence. We've got to be an intelligent, passionate, professional team, and if we are that, and we start to make strides and gather momentum, I'll be making the odd phone call or two just to check up, and if they could come, great, gladly walk and let them carry on, and really, the long-term plan of this club, as my backers and I see it, is stability in the Premiership. That's our aim. The yo-yo effect that has blighted Sunderland in the last number of years, we've got to try and make that a thing of the past. But we can't reach without getting over this first hurdle, and we're going to do everything in our power to get over this first hurdle. No stone will be left unturned.
Did you always have in the back of your mind that this scenario was a kind of real possibility?
I think, to be quite honest, if I go back to sort of March when I first felt that that there was a possibility of something happening, myself and the group felt as a whole that the ideal situation would be a real good football manager, as we said, a world-class manager, being led by a chairman who knows football and doesn't allow sort of commercial decisions affect what happened on the pitch, And we felt that somebody backed by a football person who talked the same language as him would be the perfect match, if you like, going forward. Now, I wouldn't have thought then at that particular point that I would have been manager, and I was trying to advise great friends of mine who were putting lumps of money on me and then the bookies not to do it. But as it turns out, fate has thrown this the way it has in the last couple of months. We thought we got very close to a top-class manager. We did get extremely close. We showed great ambition to do that, but we understand now it has to be done, and we think the best way of achieving this is to roll out our plan ourselves and go for it. And I think what I be most encouraged about is the reaction from the players. They're making up for lost time. They're giving it everything. I think you'll see a far different atmosphere in the Stadium of Light. You'll notice players now who will stick their chest out and wear the jersey with pride and go and put on a show week in, week out. I mean, there's a real hunger in there, to make up for lost time, and that gives me a great advantage going forward with this.
You're immensely popular on Wearside, but I suppose if you're manager and chairman, there's nowhere to hide, is there?
Well, absolutely. Again, I could work for Sky TV and watch football all year if I wanted, or you can put your head in the block and have a go. And I'm not even the slightest bit anxious about this, about the task of both roles. I'm actually looking forward to it because I think it's very achievable. I just, I need a bit of patience from people. I need support. I need patience. We'll do the job professionally, and I can't. I'm in some ways, I can't believe my luck. I'm not here saying it's a worry at all. It's the exact opposite. But I'm relishing to get out on that training ground.